Thank you, Jules, for once again providing a excellent dinner and an excellent restaurant and a lot of hard work. You try to get restaurants to come here and feed everyone, only Jules can do it. First, I'd like to introduce and get an update on the police activity in Sherman Oaks. Who we decide is going to give the report. Well, George is pointing, is that both standing up? Oh, Officer Ron Carter, who is the new senior lead officer for this area of Sherman Oaks, and he's going to introduce some other people that are here. But I've asked him to just give us a little of his background. Too many people come up here and we never really know who they are. We see a uniform, we get a report that, where did you grow up, your children, give us a little of your background. And then introduce the people who are here with us this evening.
Thank you very much, Richard. Thank you very much. First of all, good evening, and I'd like to say thank you to the residents of Sherman Oaks. As you know, I took Nate Danley's spot. Gino Damiano did an excellent job as interim during that time, and it's been a pleasure. In the last several weeks, I've been assigned to Sherman Oaks. Moved from another area in Van Nuys. However, I've been at Van Nuys since 1983. For those of you who think I might be the new kid on the block, I've actually been here for a while. But I want to say thank you to all the residents of Sherman Oaks. As I'm driving through a patrol, as I'm looking for some of the crime issues and the problems, I'm being flagged down, I'm being welcomed very graciously, so I thank you very much for that. A little bit about myself. As I mentioned to George and Richard, I'm going to really try to encapsulate this because I have a very long history, but the Carter family came from Maine. Actually, my upbringing is in New England. The Carter family started in Maine, and I actually grew up in Massachusetts, New Hampshire. Yeah, another New Englander. Springfield, very good. Very good. Salem, New Hampshire, Lawrence, Massachusetts.
I grew up in Lawrence area.
Oh, excellent.
All right, enough of that, Richard.
What a small world. 3,250 miles away, I get to meet this gentleman, Richard, a fellow New Englander. I bet you root for the Red Sox and the Patriots.
Oh,
absolutely. Outstanding. But getting back to the point here. I was born and raised in New England. I came to California in 1969. Did a military stint for a while. Went on into the private sector, working for an electronics manufacturing company. I am married. We have 5 children together. We have our seven grandchildren and our 8th grandchild, our 2nd grandson, coming in about 3.5 weeks. So very, very blessed in that respect. We do live in the Santa Clarita area. Unfortunately, when I hired on the department at about $24,000 a year, I was unable to afford something in this lovely area, so I moved out to the Antelope Valley. Since then, I've moved a little bit closer into the Santa Clarita Valley. But I've been at Van Nuys, as I mentioned, since 1983. I really obviously enjoy being in Van Nuys, otherwise I would have moved on elsewhere, but this is kind of my second home. I actually lived for a short period of time, about 5 years in the Panorama City area, just north of Roscoe, back in the good old days in the 70s. So that's pretty much an encapsulated view of Ron Carter. And I've been a police officer for 25.5 years. Getting down to the crime issues, I'm going to be very brief. And it may sound monotonous, but the auto-related crimes are our #1 priority. Although it's been reduced, that crime has been reduced, property crimes in particular, specifically in Sherman Oaks area, in George Aguilar, Justin Bergman, and my own area. We still are having little spot checks that we need your help on. On Monday, this past Monday, we actually have permission from Captain James Miller to take 24 police recruits. These are young men and women who have not yet graduated, about 6 weeks to graduate. And we started at Coldwater and Ventura and walked all the way to the Galleria at 15301, both sides of the streets, passing out the flyers that we left at the back. That's the Leave It, Lose It program that Officer Aguilar began, which basically says if you leave something valuable in your cars, somebody else is very likely going to be the new owner very soon. So we're going to encourage people, and I'm still finding it, which is why we're being repetitious. The first 4 reports when I came back from a couple of days off were laptop computers and very expensive items being left overnight in vehicles on public streets. So if we could please urge you to tell your friends, your family, your relatives, and yourselves, or remind yourself to take those CDs, take the laptop, take all the valuable items that you'd like to retain out of the cars, and we will personally reduce that type of crime by another 20 or 30%. One other issue, in my driving around my new area, I've been contacting a lot of residents, and one of the things that's been pointed out to me is that during the late afternoon and early evening hours, and then into the wee morning hours, They're noticing that we're having juveniles, 16, 17, maybe 18 years of age, youngsters up looking for secluded, desolate spots up in the cul-de-sacs in the hills, sitting there, maybe romancing, probably drinking a little alcohol, and maybe allegedly involved